Sweetness. Bless you.
What's up? Whoa. What's up, folks? Welcome to Watching Paint Dry here on Another Letdown Media. My name is Zach from the Adjacent Hex podcast and Another Letdown Media. This is the show where I hang out with good friends on a Saturday night and paint some minis that have been hanging out in my backlog for way too long, and we're all doing that. Tonight on the show, Adam's taking the night off to redo his office, I guess, rearrange his office, which, great, cool, good on him. So I am here with Michael, aka Broody Gambit. How's it going, man?
Good. Hello.
So on tonight's show, I will be continuing to work on the miniatures for Brutality and Blood Bowl. And Mike, what are you working on?
I have the cast of The Mandalorian, including Baby Yaddle.
Yeah, so we get those Baby Yaddle clicks. Hashtag the child. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut over to the Watching Paint Dry main screen where you can see Michael has already dove in on some. I've got mine lined up here. I got a couple of these bull centaurs that I'm working on. Somewhere Paul is approving. Go tell him, RPD. I don't think I posted in Paul's Discord, but I probably should have. Because he doesn't really do the board game stuff, so I don't usually post this link in his chat. So I'm still kind of setting up my workspace. It's been a really long couple of days. So I'm a little disoriented and discombobulated. Ooh, I didn't hit this side of the sword with Melon Oil. Well, I guess that just shows off the difference between Null and Oil and not Null and Oil. So I'll start by fixing that. Oh, hey! Hey, Paul is here! Look at that! Paul's gonna chill with us and listen to some Mega Man music and watch us paint, or watch Broody paint Mandalorian. And me paint this weird guy from Brutality. The Gravekeeper. Or as RPD referenced last week, one of my favorite board games. Oh my gosh, where are all my brushes? Oh no, they're right here under my remote. RPD mentioned one of my favorite board games, and he's mentioning it again. It's called Nightmare. Broody, have you ever heard of it?
I have not.
So Nightmare is an old VHS board game where you sort of played along with a VHS tape.
Uh-huh.
And every once in a while, this dude, hey Chamali, would pop in called The Gatekeeper. And if you didn't respond with the phrase, "Yes, my gatekeeper," in a period of seconds, you were banished to the black hole. And you had to go to a specific space on the board labeled black hole. We play it about once a year at Halloween, and God, is it fantastic. I'm sure once we're allowed to go to conventions and stuff again, I can facsimile a copy and we can play it, because it is well worth it. That'd be a good one to play at Ice Cream Party. Which, by the way, is currently the only plan that anybody's brought to the table for not at Gen Con this year.
Is an ice cream party?
There's going to be a Zoom ice cream party. Jacqueline and I are going to make sure of that.
Nice. The ice cream party was really fun last year.
Yeah, and we did it
at
plugged. Yeah, we did it at PAX East also. Although where Alex and Sammy and Jacqueline and Greg and I were staying was literally right around the corner from a Ben & Jerry's scoop shop.
Mm-hmm.
So we, instead of getting pints, we just went to Ben & Jerry's.
Yeah.
Which was the most wonderful of mistakes, as it always is. In so much as it was the middle of February in Boston.
Yeah.
But it was delicious, and no regrets. Oh, I needed to... Oh, shoot. So the one ink wash that I'm using on these Brutality minis that isn't Null and Oil is the Flesh Shade.
I love the Flesh Shade.
Oh my gosh, it's so good, right?
Yeah, absolute game-changing doing skin tones and stuff.
Yeah. So I think one of these weeks on the show, we're going to have Daryl Lauder hang out with us and
Nice.
Do some painting. He's an award-winning painter and the designer of such wonderful games as Fate of the Elder Gods and Compounded. Last night on Trapped in Arkham, he and Chris Kirkman agreed to give us the files for the unreleased expansion for Fate of the Elder Gods, so we can implement that in the module. The only stipulation there is that we play that module, or play that expansion with them on stream as soon as we got it ready.
Yeah.
So Chamali and Twit and I have some work to do, but we are very excited about it.
Yeah, Compounded is one of those, like, I need to play it. Someone got it for me because like chemistry, like I have a chemistry degree, like I love chemistry.
Yeah.
And stuff. And so they saw that and it was like, you know what, you should probably have this. And I was like, I appreciate it. I love games in general. But it's just one of those that I never got around to getting it on the table.
Well, anytime, anywhere, my friend. I love Compounded. It is one of my favorites. So, chat, how's your night going? Mine has been very simple. I sat in bed and watched Iron Chef. Went for a hike today with my wife and, well, my best friend. I call her my sister, but
Yeah, I stayed at home mostly.
I mean, such is the right decision these days. But we've been cooped up a little bit too long and need some fresh air. So we found a trail and walked on it. Oh, RPD, I'm so jealous. I love sushi. And my wife... What's that?
Sushi is delicious.
Oh, it's so good. My wife isn't...
Yeah. Sorry.
My wife isn't down with the sushi. But I think because I watched Iron Chef today, I think I actually may have found some that she will get into. Which I'm pretty psyched about.
What was it? Like, kind of, what's her hang up?
Well, first of all, she's vegetarian.
Okay.
But
that's a pretty important bit there.
But she also, like, the concept of seaweed kind of turns her off.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, there's plenty that doesn't have that, but like the smell when you go into a sushi place kind of overwhelms her.
Yeah.
As I mean, I have a strange allergy to certain shellfish, and it works in similar ways. Kind of any fishy smell will turn me off. But that, you know, that's not sushi. I love sushi. And so Iron Chef Morimoto, in the King of Iron Chefs battle, the very last battle, he did a green or a red pepper, a marinated red pepper instead of the salmon. And I really, really, really want to try that because I actually make really good sushi. Like, I'm actually pretty good at that. But I don't get to do it very often because, well, for obvious reasons. Oh, why did I close that brush? That was stupid. So yeah, I'd probably try that at some point with her. Looked really good. Currently listening to soundtrack from Mega Man X4, which is one of my favorite Mega Man soundtracks.
That is probably my favorite Mega Man game.
Really?
Yeah, I'm probably a little biased because it was really like my first one.
Sure.
But I love it.
I gotta go favorite. Favorite Mega Man game is 02. The one that my friends and I sort of universally define as the best or the most original, like the best in that way, would be Mega Man 2. Because it sort of set everything up for what Mega Man would become moving forward. I think the one that I am the best at is probably Mega Man Zero, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But that's largely due to the fact that it's the one I've played most frequently. Or sorry, most recently. Played most recently. But I can get through the 4 main Zero games with some amount of confidence, I think, at this point. Four being the most annoying. That's very fair, RPD. So RPD, you got any lore for us tonight from somewhere? I forget what we do during this show, if it's more cooking lore or if it's... Because I know he does Hound of Tindalos lore when we're doing Arkham, which is pretty great. Boy, the Hound of Tindalos was relentless last night. Every third or fourth monster draw, the Hound of Tindalos would come back. Oh, I don't know if you saw him. Oh, sorry.
I was about to say, that sounds rather terrifying.
Yeah, it was pretty rugged. Daryl did actually reach out to Richard for some of the rules clarifications we needed too.
Yeah?
Turns out we do need something to mark the starting sanity and stamina, because that it does end up being your maximum, despite the fact that the cards read otherwise.
Okay. So you can't like get that like one item that lets you increase one or the other, and you just max out 7/7.
Right. Yeah. That has been deemed absurd, and like, sure, absolutely. Like, I am not going to argue that one. At one point, Candace had 7 and 7, like for several turns. I'm developing the concept for the fighting game arc as... Have I talked to Candace since? No? Ness says everything's fine, though. Oh, yeah, no, she was helping Ness with something. And Ness... I messaged Ness, and she said, yep, everything's fine. We're all good. And I did tell her to let Candace know that we won. Yes. Oh, Candace made the overlay, too. Instead of Ancient Evil is threatening Arkham, I wrote Candace is threatening Chris. Or rather, Candace is threatening Joe Diamond.
I love easy characters like IG-11.
Oh, I know, right?
It's just, here's a bunch of lead belcher.
Yeah, pretty much. You just doing lead belcher, null and oil done? Or are you gonna highlight it?
No. I'm gonna highlight it. There's a couple like more bronzy like shoulder pads and stuff. So I'll do a little bit of touch ups as well.
Sure.
But for the most part, yeah. I'll probably and I may highlight a little bit.
I mean, that's largely how I accomplished this guy too. It's like, okay, here's a bunch of red, here's a bunch of lead belcher, here's a bunch of brown. Now we're done. But what really makes, especially my Chaos Dwarfs pop, is the basing. They all have that awesome lava terrain that Alex and I just developed in the laboratory through much trial and error. By much, I mean one failed model. And by model, I mean spare base that we had kicking around. I don't know if I like that. I have a darker gray. Black. That's not good enough. Boo. What's that? Oh, right on the side. I guess it's fine. We'll make do. So yeah, I got really into Iron Chef this week, and it has motivated me to cook again, which is very nice.
Cooking is great. I love cooking.
It's really soothing, especially in like anything that I can do right now to sort of like remind myself that normal is, or that the previous normal is still, like there's still bits of it hanging around, are very hugely beneficial. And cooking is one of those things. So I'm doing French toast tomorrow morning. And
French toast is great.
Huh?
French toast is great.
Oh, it's my favorite breakfast.
I've got a really good recipe
Mm-hmm.
that I actually did for my birthday a few weeks back.
Go on.
It's a Grand Marnier French toast.
Oh, sick.
So you have like your cream, you have your eggs, but you add in like a quarter cup of Grand Marnier with like a couple tablespoons of fresh squeezed orange juice and a little bit of orange zest.
Oh,
So
okay.
you get a little bit of an orange flavor to the batter that you dip the bread in,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just kind of toast it like normal and
Oh, that's
like
awesome.
on the grill for a little bit, and it was outstanding. The recipe came from Back in the Kitchen,
Okay.
which is a cookbook by Freddie Prinze Jr.,
Oh, nice.
who's like my spirit animal.
He's the man.
He's great. In fact, like when I shared it, I got a happy birthday tweet from him, which was very exciting.
Oh, that's cool.
And yeah. So I've been sharing stuff with him whenever I cook stuff out of that cookbook, and we've had some conversations, but it's been exciting. The cookbook's outstanding.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Definitely check it out.
He's an outstanding human being. Like he takes a lot of flack, I think. But you know, he's been married to Sarah Michelle Gellar for that long. He can't be that bad, you know.
Yeah.
And she's always singing his praises. So yeah, pretty cool guy. And I loved his performance as Fred. Underrated.
It was like, yeah, like like, not to say anything about the quality of like the writing or anything about the Scooby-Doo movies.
Mhm.
The casting was absolutely perfect.
Oh, it was so good, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a testament to like Matthew Lillard played Shaggy for years.
Yeah,
After
he kept
that.
doing the voice and stuff. I heard he was pretty miffed he didn't get to voice him in the new movie that just came out.
Yeah, he was really upset about it. Yeah, it was a bummer. But yeah, no, it was. Anyway, yeah, I'm going for a little bit more standard fare with my French toast tomorrow. Going for the various berries and powdered sugar and maple syrup topping. So I'm I'm going pretty straightforward with it. You know, just eggs, vanilla, nutmeg, cinnamon, milk.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, here we go. We're getting our cooking lore. And also, RPD, I am so excited for that director of Danganronpa. I can never pronounce that word. FMV game. I think that's going to be freaking hysterical. FMV games need to come back. Mostly so that Candace and others and myself can play them. Because, oh my god, I had so much freaking fun playing Tender Loving Care. Alright, I need like a... Oh, that's easy enough. Where is this one?
Oop.
And that guy's a guy I trust with properly making. I have not seen Scoob yet. It's on my list for this coming week. Ian. I definitely want to. Adam was singing its praises last week, and I really badly want to see it. I did watch Wish I Was Here. I actually watched it right after the stream last week, and I went to bed incredibly depressed. That movie is hysterical. It's Zach Braff at some of his best. Strongly recommend it. It's really, really good. It just hit a little close to home right now. But yeah, Scoob is on my list for this week. I watched the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt special, which was enjoyable, but very odd. I think, unfortunately, this is the first thing I've seen Daniel Radcliffe in since Harry Potter. And I have trouble dissociating him from Harry Potter. Do you ever have that problem, Mike?
Sometimes. Especially when I was younger. I think I've kind of grown out of it a little bit, but
sure.
For the most part, yeah, there's a handful of very iconic roles where I haven't been able to really dissociate the actor from. Minis do not like my primer very much.
What the? Oh, okay. Oh, dude. You missed it last, or I don't know if I had it last week. I got the FP2 on Blu-ray. And I'm so excited because there's bonus features that I haven't seen. Interactive film. Yes. So, no, I watched, I got a couple of false endings and then it backtracked and I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. That's a stupid way to handle it. It was fine. I wanted to see things happen and play out in a specific way. And they didn't. They just were like, you're an idiot. Kimmy wouldn't act that way. And I was like, oh, okay, but I'm telling her to. They kind of took the control out of my hands, and I was like, okay, I'm done. I don't like that at all. So, yeah, I was a little miffed by the Kimmy Schmidt special. So I watched through it once, and I was like, okay, this is cool. It's a neat idea. I'd like to see more of this in the future, but I thought it was poorly executed. I saw Tulok's video on how to play Shaggy in D&D, and one of the quotes that stuck with me from it is, "It's time to use the one class that's been rebooted and reimagined without about as much as Mr. Ink. It's Ranger time." Oh my god, that's fantastic. All right. Oh, that's what I was looking up. I also need a reference image because I'm struggling. Nope, I want images, please. Oh. Alright, so these all have his helmet horns as bone. Fine. All right. That means I need this. Come on. Bone. You ever wish that you could pass a paint pot through the computer?
What, just to get like a good like reference for what this photo or what it would look like?
No, because I know you have one near you that I need.
Oh.
And I can't find
Oh,
mine.
you mean like email you the paint?
Yeah, literally, yeah. What do you see as the difference
What do you
between
need?
either I've closed it at this point. The other line that stuck with me was, you can also give this bonus to up to 6 of your allies, so I imagine that would be Scooby, Fred, Daphne, Velma, Batman, and the Terminator. Not Kiss? I mean, come on, Scooby-Doo meets Kiss. Classic. That is disappointing. What do you see as the difference between an interactive film and visual novel games like Steins Gate? So like my big experience, and this is not a good experience to draw on, so like take this with a grain of salt. My experience with interactive game or like visual novel games or FMV games is Tender Loving Care. Google it. It's a thing. And I just found that way more enjoyable because I didn't know how I was influencing the decisions that were being made as part of the film. I would like to see more of that than a direct than me trying to direct a character, because I have a different vision of the character, of what I want the character to do than what is appearing on the screen, or like what's allowed in the parameters of the film. And I know they can only film so much, but I don't know. It wasn't perfect, and that's fine. Like, I respect that it can't be. I thought I had Xander Dust.
Oh, yeah, that's literally the one I was just using on Baby Yoda.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I knew you had it.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure I have it. I just don't know where. It's not down there. Boo. Alright, well, I'll just make do with what I've got then. Also, don't get me wrong. The Kimmy Schmidt movie or special was really fun, and I enjoyed it. I was just frustrated with it. I wanted a little bit more. A little bit more like an FMV, less like a choose your own adventure book. All right. I'm being Captain Indecisive today.
What do you need to decide on?
Oh, how I want to proceed with this bone color without Xandri Dust. I think I can pull it off with Steel Legion Drab, though. Just go a little heavier on the next layer. I'm gonna give it a shot.
Yeah.
When you say more like an FMV game, did you expect chapters to be intermission with... No, RPD, I did not expect to be playing Kimmy Schmidt meets Tender Loving Care. I expected, like, more than just poke a button sort of thing. Pseudo-psychological questionnaires. So you were expecting either... Yes. Yeah, exactly. That is much, much more accurate. Ace Attorney inventory puzzles or Danganronpa minigames. Yeah. Or just like some level of unexpectedness. Like, I knew if I had Titus do something stupid, it would end badly for him. Yeah, I think this is going to look good. Exactly. I mean, to be fair, the first false ending I got was the second decision I made. But, like, it was the one that I thought would be the funniest. And taking that option away from the player or the viewer just seems like a disservice. No discredit to Tina Fey's writing ability, because it is freaking legendary. But I just think I expected better of her. Like, let you play out some more of the consequences.
I've got so many unpainted stuff.
Oh my god, dude. Adam and I were talking about that last week. Like, I flagged all the boxes of things that I still have to paint, and I nearly had a heart attack. They say that if a Warhammer player or miniatures gaming player ever runs out of miniatures painting projects, they will die.
Uh-huh.
I took that to mean I'm going to live forever.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
It's the key to immortality, folks. You heard it here last.
Cat hair.
Oh god, he gets everywhere. When I was painting downstairs and I had Buster would sit on my feet while I painted, and of course he also insisted on batting the miniatures around.
Was I just showing off my last Star Wars project? It was a Plo Koon.
Mm-hmm.
With the orange lightsaber from Jedi Power Battles.
As it should be.
AKA also his original design from the Hasbro toy.
Yes. I loved the orange lightsaber. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
It is what inspired me to when it was, what is it, Jedi Academy? That you get to build your own lightsaber, the video game?
Yeah, I think that was the first one.
My sabers, plural, were orange, and it wouldn't let you do the Samuel L. Jackson purple, but it let you do like a periwinkle, almost.
Yeah. That
I really, really dug. And orange is not the right word either. It was more of a pale yellow.
Yeah. I was gonna say I've always been a big fan of Plo Koon since like playing him a lot in Jedi Power battles.
Mm-hmm.
Like my Jedi Academy like character was Keldor as well, and had him the orange saber. I pretty much like styled everything after it.
That's awesome.
In my Force and Destiny campaign, I play Keldor
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Is that the Fantasy Flight system?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I have the books for the pilots and bounty hunters in that one, or not the Edge of the Empire one, but it's like the. I could just look around my screen. Age of Rebellion.
Yeah.
Have I read the Choose Your Own Adventure Shakespeare books? No, I haven't. I should. I love I love the concept of Choose Your Own Adventure, and I love Shakespeare, so I should definitely do that. Thank you. I will look into that. That's how it works when you have N.A. Warlock's contract with GW. Yeah, one of my favorite classes I took in high school was Shakespearean Lit. It was with, followers of the channel, you've heard my buddy Kyle on the Trapped in Arkham show. He was on last night. Happy birthday again to Kyle. It was a couple days ago. His dad was our English teacher, and he really is largely responsible for how much I love books and whatnot these days. He introduced me to a lot of my favorite. I mean, he introduced me to H.P. Lovecraft. That was sci-fi lit, of course, but Mary Shelley. A whole bunch of writers. Ray Bradbury. Which my dad just got into Ray Bradbury, actually. That was an interesting conversation. My dad got into Spider-Man this week. He called me out of the blue on Tuesday. He's like, so tell me about Spider-Man. I'm like, what? He's like, well, I got a student who is reading a Spider-Man novel. And I was like, oh, I bet you my son knows about Spider-Man. I'm like, Dad, where do you want me to start? How far back in my collection do you want me to go? He goes, oh, do you collect Spider-Man? I'm like, I have issue number 16 of Spider-Man. Do I collect Spider-Man? What kind of goofy question is that? Couple more bits of base coat here, and then we'll move on to thinking. How far back do you want me to go, and how many of the overcomplicated bad parts do you want me to untangle? Well, so turns out he was actually paying more attention to the Miles Morales stuff than he was to my boy Peter Parker. They sort of throw some shade at Shakespeare, but they also have fun exploring outside the plays. Oh, cool. Oh, that's really rad. I like that. Yeah, Miles Morales is way easier to work with, but my dad didn't understand that there are more than one Spider-Man. So he had me unpacking Peter Parker stuff, and he's like, wait, isn't Spider-Man supposed to be black? I'm like, oh, God. Yes! Okay, hit me with some French toast lore. French toasted toast!
Knowing the naming convention of things, I doubt it was actually invented in France.
What's that?
Knowing the general naming convention of French things, I doubt it was actually made in France.
Probably true, but I don't think that's the lore we're getting. I think it's from a video game that RPD enjoys. French toast, also known as pain perdu, lost bread, first appeared in the Middle Ages. Due to a combination of record food wastage and malnutrition amongst the lower class, the French government passed legislation making the disposal of food illegal.
Good shot.
Cook served delicious, that's right. With the ban on food disposal in full swing, restaurateurs were puzzled with what to do with stale bread. Local restaurants came together and concluded that by cooking stale bread with curdled milk, they'd be able to sell expired food for gourmet prices. Their research paid off, and in the coming months, French toast became a hit. That's reminded me of something I thought was funny. I'll talk about in a second. Oh, what is... Ugh. Screwdriver. Hoping to recreate the success of French toast, restaurants attempted to serve patrons expired chicken covered in moldy cheese. It was less successful. The end.
That wasn't chicken cordon bleu?
Have you ever seen Clerks the cartoon?
No.
Oh my god, it's so
in
good.
fact, I haven't seen like any of them.
Oh no! Gotta get you educated, my friend.
Where to put that?
I'm gonna have to give you homework. So there's a scene in Clerks the cartoon. One of the characters, his responsibility is to put a box of frozen burritos in the freezer.
Uh-huh.
Not a particularly difficult thing to have to do. I think pretty much any idiot could do that. But he forgets. And the owner of the town of Leonardo, New Jersey, played by Alec Baldwin, comes in, buys the burrito, finds the smell first, and says, "What is that exquisite aroma?" And Randall goes, "That'd be the burritos." And Alec Baldwin's character opens one up, eats it, and turns green immediately, belches, and says, "Exquisite." And ends up buying the lot, and getting very, very sick as a result. One of my absolutely favorite cartoons, Clerks the cartoon. Only lasted like 6 episodes, but I mean, how many like actual human jokes can you make based on a TV or based on a movie that's all about dick and fart jokes? All right. I think that takes care of base coding. The Secret Diary of Desmond Pfeiffer was a real show? Oh my god. Face the judgment of the Honorable Judge Reinhold. Broody, RPD is threatening you.
Why?
Because you haven't seen Clerks the cartoon.
I'm sorry.
God, these models have the dumbest teeth. The dwarfs with tusks. Oh, did it? It lasted shorter than... For something to last shorter than Clerks the Cartoon, that's pretty impressively bad. Oh my god, I'm off camera again. Alright, I think that's going to do it for base coating on this guy. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with him. Frustratingly, now I got to make decisions.
42.
I mean, that's usually the correct one. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start in on the other Bull Centaur. Just work on these guys kind of in tandem. They're exactly the same model, so it's going to be incredible. You know what? No, I'm not. They're exactly the same model. I'll just paint the other one off screen, off camera. So that I can move back over to Gravekeeper. Finish him up for get a little closer anyway. All right. Paint app. I love that the paint app can like load a picture and just you select the color from it. You know, except when it doesn't load the one you're looking for.
Black gloves, yellow fingers. Black.
Hmm. I guess I could just dry brush some brown in there. That would get the job done. Question is, do I have a brown dry brush? I think I do. Which one did I pick up the other day? It's the Citadel Color Paint app. And it is phenomenal. Aha, I do have a brown dry brush. Sylvaneth bark. It might not be dark enough, though.
Look at that red. It needs to be darker than Mephiston. Maybe mix it with some dark.
All right, we're gonna go old school. Layer paint as dry brush.
Yep. I used to do that a lot. Like there were times when I'd use base coats as dry brush.
Oh, absolutely. I still do that sometimes too. Doombull brown is too red. Oh, I think my music killed itself. There we go. That's better. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool. Oh man. No. Yeah, I guess it is going to be Gorthor brown. I'm going to use this ancient dry brush. Pull this off. So we just need a little bit in strategic areas. Huh. Oh yeah, that's coming out exactly the way I want it to. Just putting a little bit of grime on that. Makes him look so good. Oh my gosh. I'm actually really impressed with how that worked. Oops. I'm gonna zoom out so you guys can see this a little better. That might be too far. Yeah, it's a pretty similar art style, Froggy. This is for the game Brutality. It's a tremendous game. I absolutely cannot sing its praises loudly enough. And I mean, I have to preface it with the fact that the designer's a friend of mine, Stephen Frost. But like, I'm really happy with how this model's coming out too. Like, yeah. super happy with it. His name is the Gravekeeper. Not to be confused with the Gatekeeper. Every time I say Gravekeeper, RPD says, "Yes, my Gravekeeper!" Just in case. Oh, I actually wanted to use that to paint his hair. We'll bring that back out in just a second. Oh, I do need to bust out some brighter silver, I think, here in a second, too.
Runefang.
Yes. It is probably going to be Runefang. Assuming I can find it. What is you? Well, it's here somewhere because I definitely used it recently. Yep, got it. Yeah, I don't want to go completely or quite to Stormhost Silver. That's the special white cap. But I think Runefang will do the job. I do not use other paint lines purely for the sake of the fact that I can get, like, this is what the store I work at sells. The only miniatures line that we carry, like, I mean, we carry miniatures games, but not like the full line, is the Games Workshop stuff. And our recourse or our backup system with GW is very, our relationship with GW is really good. And so if something goes badly wrong, if the paint causes the model to go badly wrong somehow, we can call them up and be like, yo, what gives? Where if somebody uses another paint system and it screws up the model, we don't have any recourse at all. Is that recourse going to do anything? No, probably not. But at least it's, you know, a step.
Now to the tiny brush.
Uh-oh. It's tiny brush time. It's tiny brush time. Right on. So, Froggy Collectibles is where I work. I'm guessing you found the stream via my posts on the Collectibles channel. Gotcha. Yeah, War Machine kind of died out at the store. We never actually got any tournaments for it, to the best of my knowledge, off the ground. Like, Joff tried to run a couple at one point, but nobody showed up. So we kind of threw in the towel on it, so to speak. Mike still sells it. Mostly online now, though. I've always been more into painting than playing the games until I discovered that, oh hey, there are board games that use miniatures. So I can just paint those instead. We will have Brutality in stock as soon as it is available in proper retail. The community for it took a bit of a hit in the newest edition. Oh, okay. Oh, man. I'm not super thrilled with how that hair came out.
Speaking of painting board game miniatures, the new TMNT stuff that I've been trying out is great.
Oh, sick. That's good to hear.
We were just playing with some of the new characters.
The ones you guys made up, or the ones that are like actually published module?
They're going to be in the Mutanimals expansion.
Oh, nice.
So we're just we're playtesting like the new missions, some new additions, and new characters.
Nice.
And I mean, I guess you can see the picture on the expansion. So like if you read the comics, you'll know most of the new characters. So I don't feel like this is completely off the table discussing. But Casey loves Ray.
Yep.
Like she's just like her one response after trying him out today was just like, I'm not going to play with anyone other than him from now on. And I was like, you are more than welcome to.
Yeah. One of these days I got to sit down and play with that game. Like Adam wants me to help him to, work with some of the characters he's designing for it and stuff like that, and I'm just like, I got so much on my plate. So many things to do. You're making some terrain. Terrain is rad. I used to make so much terrain. Please feel free to discuss anything off the table. Okay. Come on. Oh, computer signal. There we go. All right. Do I want to go to this next, or do I want to go to? Let's check the app.
Tiny, tiny little soup bowl.
Bowl of soup. It's a bowl of soup.
Yeah, it's the Baby Yoda from episode 4.
Gotcha.
AKA the Seven Samurai episode.
Oh, yeah.
But my personal favorite, I think it was the best one of the season.
I gotta rewatch Mandalorian. Like, I love Mandalorian so much.
Yeah, I did too. Casey watched the first 2 with me and like didn't really get it, like didn't like it much.
Sure.
And I was like, you need to keep going, and she's like, I hate watching week to week, so
That's
we've kind of been putting it on a hold until like she kind of forgets enough of it that we can go back to it.
No spoilers. Okay. I will not spoil anything. Yeah,
They all die in the end.
Darth Vader dies. There you go. There's your spoiler. Bruce Willis was dead the whole time. Oh my god, this sculpt on his face is so weird. No, it's just really fun. The Mandalorian is a lot of fun. And that is all I can offer. Like I said, I gotta go back and rewatch it when I can sort of binge watch it, which I mean,
What do you do Memorial Day?
what am I doing Memorial Day? Probably catching up on grading, honestly. Which doesn't sound very fun, but it is. Such is the life of a teacher. Yeah, unfortunately. Dumbledore was a cyborg. Nah, dude, he was a Cyberman. This guy's face is all manner of weird. The sculpt is super bad on it.
Why aren't you sealing properly? I don't want you to die on me.
Paint pot?
Yep. I get more use out of this, like, these molding tools than like trying to just scrape out dried paint.
Yep.
What it's actually for.
Yeah, Adam and I were talking about the molding tool last week. This is one of the few things I didn't send him in the big care package.
Yeah.
And it's because we were out. Like, we haven't had one of those in for a long time. I don't even have one. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Runefang Steel. Oh my god, still not shaking enough. I need one of those, like, desktop paint shakers.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, much smaller. I feel like I could do that. I feel like I could build that. A 15C scalpel blade will change your life for cleaning mold lines. Yeah? Alright, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, to finish my thought from earlier, though, like, the reason that I use... The big reason that I use Citadel almost exclusively is... in the words of Jean-Ralphio, if Mike Bucks were, which is store credit, were dollar bills, I would be flush with cash.
Okay, let's see if I can get this color to work out how I want it to.
Yeah, same.
Doing some mixing.
Oh, okay. Rolling the dice, huh?
Mm-hmm. I need something a little bit darker than the Mephiston red.
Sure.
So I'm gonna add a little bit of Bugman's glow.
Yeah. Yeah.
To try and keep it reddish, but darken it a little, or mute it a little.
The other you might consider, if you have it, is Screamer Pink.
I do not have that.
I think I used it for like one model ever. It was probably Violet Heart. And I've never used it since. Yeah, I gotta make an Amazon order this week anyway, so I might dig those. Thank you, Froggy. I appreciate that.
Go on. Please, thank you. I think that looks pretty good.
Oh my gosh, I'm so loving these models. Oh,
Could have probably used a smidge more red in this, but I'm not going to complain.
Let's see it.
You're probably not going to. It's his knee pad here on the left.
Oh yeah, yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I like that. My 3-year-old and I are watching the 1990. My copy of that was signed by Kevin Eastman, and I was so happy. I love that movie so much.
The 1990 TMNT?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, for the longest time, it was the highest grossing film filmed in North Carolina.
This is accurate.
Yep. I'm not sure if maybe it had mentioned this before. Like a lot of the, I know the guy who was Wrath.
Yep.
I think in the suit, went to a local high school.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, years ago, so I don't know if I've mentioned this either. The original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the comic book, debuted at Paperback Bazaar, which is the comic book store in New Hampshire, now known as Jetpack Comics, where I used to work. And so we were able to get Kevin Eastman and Peter Layard to show up and do a signing for Free Comic Book Day one year. So I got all 3 of my Turtles Blu-rays signed by both of them.
That's awesome.
Unfortunately, about a month later, come on. While cleaning up at Collectibles, found this.
Yep.
That is Turtles number 1.
Nice.
It's not a first printing. It is a third printing, so it's not worth much, but it is worth, a bit. So I'm very much hoping to at Bangor. I'm hoping Bangor Comic-Con happens, so I can go because Kevin's supposed to be there. I'm hoping very much that I can get him to sign that. All right. Let's check the leather bits. Gorthor Brown. Oh, that's awesome, Ian. That's terrific. Oh, I like what that's doing. Just dry brushing some dirt onto the corners of his cape here. Yeah, I really am a huge fan of the original comics. I mean, having worked for Ralph, like, that's a huge part of it. But, and actually handling Eastman and Layard at Free Comic Book Day was my first gig as a VIP handler, which got me in the door at Boston Comic Con a little while after that. And they invite me to do that every year, but unfortunately it's just not in the cards anymore. I got to work with some of the voice actors from Attack on Titan a little while ago. Thank you. Yeah, I'm quite fond of that little dirt bit there. I was going to try and hand do the accents on the wrinkles in his pants, but I think dry brushing it makes it look a little more organic. So I've literally been using this brush in particular since the very first models I ever painted were done with this brush and one other. Yeah, so I got to hang out with Trina and Bryce from Attack on Titan, and they are super, super nice people. I still get, like birthday greetings and stuff from Trina on Facebook. I'm still really unhappy with his face. And it's the sculpt, it's not my painting. Everything else about this model I absolutely adore, but his face is just really derpy. But it's mostly covered by his hat anyway, so that's fine. Yep. I've not actually watched Attack on Titan myself, which I feel is probably rude. But anime is just not my thing. And what I really enjoyed about working with Trina and Bryce is they understood that. They were like, yeah, it's not for everybody. That's cool. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm struggling with the app here. Sure. There we go. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of animes that I really enjoy, but by and large, like as with a lot of first-person shooter video games, the game of motion sickness. I don't know what it is or why, but it's just a thing that I've had to deal with for many, many years. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's just... No, that's the same thing. There we go. I found the one I was looking for. Baneblade Brown. Broody, does the tongue help?
Yes, sorry.
I do it too, don't worry about it.
I do it all the time whenever I'm concentrating on anything. Like, yeah.
The other one I'll do is I'll like tuck my upper lip down behind my teeth.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, there are times like playing like Rock Band, like the tongue will still always come out, and like my wife mocks me mercilessly about it.
Okay, so on brand for RPD. Eclectic?
Yeah, I haven't watched anime in quite a while.
I watched Seven Deadly Sins because my students were like, throw away the fact that it's anime and just kind of watch it. And I watched it while I was painting, and I was like, oh, this is actually really hysterical. And then I remembered that Bryce from Attack on Titan is in it. And so that it was nice. It was good to be able to connect with a piece of work that was done by someone that I had met. Eclectic is a nicer word than I use for myself.
What are your guns look like? Cautious Silver.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely something for everybody there. It's just not, my go-to. And like I said, there are definitely some animes that I really, really do enjoy. Seven Deadly Sins, Eureka 7, they all seem to have 7s in them. Gundam, kind of grew up watching that. DBZ.
Never watched Gundam growing up.
Well, when I say grew up, I mean later in my growing up, but definitely there. I did go to film school, so I was sort of forced to watch the Ghibli films, and that soured me on them.
Yeah, I've not watched a lot of those. I should probably watch more.
Yeah, I should probably go back and rewatch them also. But that initial impression from film school was I don't want to watch this again. But I know that people really enjoy them. So yeah, G Gundam was definitely the one that I watched most of. Basically, go ahead.
I was about to say, me growing up, Ghost in the Shell is probably my all-time favorite.
Sure.
And Dot Hack, I love those. I love the video games. I love just everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that it happens to me a lot. RPD, someone will be like, "Oh, this thing's really good," and then I'll hear it from 12 other people, and I'll be like, "Now I no longer have any inclination to watch it." Truth. That said, through my experiences in film school, I was introduced to so many good films. And like the other thing that I will make note of, and it's it's because I happen to look down and see RPD knows this one, this hunk of junk. That is an amazing film, and everybody should watch it. It's amazing. I love this movie. I realized that it's indie movies. It's Kickstarter films that are really going to push the boundaries of where cinema goes moving forward, because Hollywood forces directors and producers to operate under such a specific set of circumstances that they'll never be allowed to accomplish what the artistic creations that they want. So further developments in the field of filmmaking are going to take place in the indie world. I'm pretty happy with this guy, actually. Other than his face. The fact that there's nothing you can do to control a bad sculpt is... It's infuriating. I'm gonna keep trying.
A little bit of yellow on his fingers.
Final. Oh, nice. I guess we're doing nerd confessions here. I've never actually personally played a Final Fantasy game at all. I've watched plenty of them all the way through, but I've never actually personally played one. This is yeah.
I've only played a handful, and to be honest, my favorite is probably 12.
Right on.
I know that makes me a pariah.
I'm not going to judge you.
I really enjoyed like the gambit system where it's like you could set up like AI commands essentially for your for your characters to do stuff. And I found it as like a personal challenge, like unlock as many as I can and try and fine tune it so much where I could just like in college I set it up, went to a spot where enemies respawn and just like left and like came back like overnight and like still chugging away. Perfectly
oh my
great.
God.
I was just like, that's how you level up.
Yeah.
And I was like, I felt very proud of myself that I was able to work within the system to essentially like have it consistently work and not have to worry about me being there to do anything.
Right. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, and 15. That is a list. All right. I think it's crazy brush time, trying to get some pupils done.
Crazy Brush?
Crazy Tiny Brush.
How tiny?
I mean, not the tiniest, but small layer. Citadel small layer.
Okay. So along the veins of Final Fantasy, my wife yesterday, she had off of work and started playing the Super Mario RPG. That was like her favorite game, and I enjoy it also. She has tried to go through without using Bowser and Peach, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Music died again. You know, this didn't happen at all last week. Anyway, yeah, I've actually... That is another one that I have not played, and yet... Here it is.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Yeah, ours is just Virtual Console right now, because we don't have a Super Nintendo, but...
I have 3 Super Nintendos. Actually, one of them is currently providing me. It is assisting in my sanity checks during Zoom meetings. All right, so I need a really, really, really dark brown. Is that going to be Dryad Bark? Think, or no, it's gonna be Rhinox hide.
Oh my goodness, this Yoda is so tiny.
Marvel as Zach and Mike struggle with tiny things. Yeah, that makes sense. RPG. That, and I'm actually entirely lying. Like, I play this in between Zoom meetings, really. I've almost beat Super Mario World again.
Super Mario World is great.
Oh, I love it so much. I beat it about once. Adam and I were talking about it last week. Like, he says he beats it about once a year. I beat it once every couple of years.
Yeah, I usually go through and play Mario 64 and beat that like once a year, and Mario Sunshine, which I also love. More unpopular opinions.
Dude, I like Mario Sunshine quite a lot, actually.
I'm very excited about hearing that they're supposed to be remastering it.
Yes. I don't remember where I heard that, but I was very excited about it. Okay, I think I actually fixed his face. I can't get the best shot of it. Hang on. The problem was he's wearing a domino mask. And like trying to make a medieval domino mask is a nightmare. But I'm really happy with how it came out.
No one's going to see that but me, but I have to fix it.
Yeah, oh, that's another one that I do fairly regularly is Super Metroid. When I was on the This Is Difficult podcast a little while ago, they asked me to decide a game of the month or game of the week or whatever, and I chose Super Metroid. It is just one of my favorites. Love that game to pieces. That
is
is.
a franchise I never played.
Oh, I love
Aside from,
Metroid.
like, Metroid Prime, like the first one.
Mm-hmm.
That's like I think the only Metroid game I've ever played.
Fair. All right, I think this guy is pretty much done except for basing, so let's go ahead and do that. And then I will ink the Bull Centaur. Yeah. Where's Astrogranite? Oh. Right here.
Now adding all the tiny little red dots for his eyes,
Yep.
because he's got them all over his head.
My biggest helper painting eyes was adding a bit of medium to the paint to keep the minuscule amounts of paint from drying on the tip of the brush. Oh, cool. Cool. No, that's not something that I normally struggle too much with. Probably should be. I guess I've just gotten lucky so far. Thank you. So what I do to finish this up is I spread on a little Astrogranite on the tiles here, and then I'll go back and hit it with Nuln Oil, and then I do that off camera because it takes so long for the texture paints to dry, and then the edges here will get a coat of Dawnstone.
I think I am ready for shades as well.
Well, look at us working at the same pace tonight.
Yeah, so have the Mandalorian, except my camera's not wanting to focus on it very well.
Put your hand behind it, like put your hand flat up behind it. There you go. And then move it close. Or drop it on the desk.
Yeah. There we go.
Ah, yeah, that's it. Looking good, man.
And then Baby Yoda.
Oh my god, he's tiny!
Yeah. I thought about basing the two of them together,
Sure.
but I decided to have Baby Yoda on his own thing. And IG, if it'll focus.
Oh, nice. Okay, I won't say unpopular opinion because I don't think it's an unpopular opinion, but opinion you probably won't hear every day. Breakout character in that was the shock trooper girl.
Oh yeah. Cara Dune.
Yeah,
She was outstanding.
I loved her, and
Yeah,
I think
I've got her over here.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I've got a mini for her, and then the heavy Mando that Favreau played.
Oh yeah.
I just didn't want to do all 5 of them at the same time. I wanted to like be able to do the shades on these 3, and then go work on the other 2 while the shade is drying.
Yeah, that's fair.
Nuln Oil.
The boss shade. At least for these brutality minis, like basically, so the Citadel Paint app suggests like shades to use. Anytime it says use a shade, I'm just throwing Nuln Oil at these particular models because of the way they're drawn. So unless it's something wildly specific, then it's just going to end up being Nuln Oil. These brutality minis. But yeah, it looks like I will be on track to start the Gears minis next week, which I'm very excited about. It's been a long time coming on those. Wait, why am I talking? Oh, yeah. Okay, so RPD mentions my undying affection for DuckTales. Everybody needs to watch the new DuckTales. It's so freaking fantabulous. I love it so much. And I'm so sad that it's on hiatus right now.
Yeah, I've been meaning to go and watch those.
Oh my god, dude. They're so good. Dark Souls, the board game. It's on the ever-lengthening adjacent Hex 2 playlist. Doug and I, because of quarantine, have not been able to get together. And although Tabletop Simulator is a thing, we've not done that either. Connecting is difficult. That's why we haven't recorded an episode in over a year. Actually, that was entirely unintentional. This is difficult as a podcast that our buddy Paul hosts, and I'm occasionally part of. And so saying something is difficult is actually a reference to that, but it's also, indirectly a reference to Dark Souls. So it's double pun. Broody, you better tell me to go to bed.
Go to bed.
Oh, Chris got epically told to go to bed last night.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember exactly what he said, but like 4 of us told him to go to bed, and Candace told him... Well, that's when Candace started hunting him.
So what, you played with the PvP rules?
No. We told Candace that they existed, and she freaked out. So, is Goofy's appearance canon, or was it part of the Wish? It is canon. As is some other Disney Afternoon characters that I don't know if you are considering spoilers or not. But it looks like the entirety of Disney Afternoons, except for Tailspin so far, other than the fact that they've mentioned Cape Suzette, are canon at this point. And just like how when we mentioned Mandalorian Paul showed up, I'm now expecting Colin to show up and that we mentioned Dark Souls. I think he and Yeshua are doing something, though. Summon the Ashen One. Dark Souls is one of the games that Alex and I have given consideration to doing after the Gears franchise, but I think that one's going to get vetoed just because it's going to be a little too difficult for us to be entertaining with. Almost there with the Astro Granite.
Then Agrax Earthshade.
My second favorite.
Yeah.
Grown men throwing tantrums is good TV. It's so, if you haven't already noticed, I don't allow myself to cuss on stream. Because occasionally my students drop in, and playing rage-inducing games does tend to make me say things that I might regret later. career-wise. So, you know, the games that I play on stream tend to be very not necessarily ones I'm good at, just ones that aren't going to force me to cuss. Yeah, well, I do a fair amount of that too. RPD can attest to my arsenal of fake cuss words that I use fairly regularly. Dog breath being probably my favorite one. All right. I think that as far as work on this is going to be this guy is concerned, he's done. The Gravekeeper. Yes, my Gravekeeper. So we'll do a final reveal of that mini on next week's show, once I get the cracks painted in. Thank you, Froggy Dog. I'm pretty happy with it. And we'll have Adam decide which one for me to do. Or, well, I mean, I don't know. We'll find some clever way to decide which one of these Brutality minis gets done next, starting next week. But it's time to start inking the bull here.
Okay, that is wash is done.
All right.
And on to the next two.
All right, we're gonna go to non-oil first. Ugh. I just licked this wash brush, and it tasted about how I would expect a skunk spray to taste. Water. Ah, God, that tasted horrible. Learning and growing. Oh, that's somehow put behind your.
Nope, I need turquoise.
All right, man.
What's up?
Oh, Froggy Dog's taking off. Yeah, we'll be back next week, man. Take it easy.
See ya.
What do you think? Agrax Earthshade for horse body?
Yeah, probably.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Especially, it's a brown horse.
Dark brown, yeah.
Yeah. used this one in a while.
Which one?
Just this turquoise dropper.
Oh, gotcha. So now that I've done my Mortal Kombat reference, what's next? My plan is to come up with a base roster of 8, each one a reference to a different game. 2 from Midway, 2 from Capcom, 2 from SNK, and 2 from Namco. I mean... That's tough, RPD.
Hey, cat.
No cat showing up to help?
What do you
Oh.
want? What do you want? This is Kalani.
Hello.
Not named after the Star Wars general.
That's alright, dude. My cat's named after the Aquabats Super Show.
No. Legit. Casey. This was Casey's cat.
Oh.
Before we got married, Kalani. I believe she looked it up when she was naming her, and it's like Hawaiian for star.
Oh, cool.
It was just happenstance that there's a General Kalani in Star Wars.
That's awesome. I don't think Street Fighter's next because there's already a fantastic Ryu parody in the more obscure fighting game series Power Instinct, and I can't top that, and I can't use both my Capcom slots for a Ryu-Ken recolor joke. I mean, yeah, that's a fair assessment, RPD. And I would also be like, where's my boy? Where's my Zero? Has Zero been in any of the fighting games? I don't actually know. I think he has. He has. Yeah.
He was in one of the Marvel vs. Capcom.
I'm almost 100% positive he was.
Okay, now you're just being annoying.
Oh, kitty. Either one. I think X-Zero has been in some of the fighting games. I don't know if 00 has. I hit on this awesome technique for when I do armor for Chaos Dwarfs. I hit it with the camo shade instead of the Nuln Oil. And it gives them this weird, sickly pseudo-rust.
Camo shade?
Yeah.
So like a greenish color?
Yeah, it's a green wash. MMX0's in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And Tatsunoko versus Capcom. And oh, really? Thank you, RPD. Adam was so excited about what Nuln Oil was doing to the TMNT minis last week. He's like, oh my god, I feel like I'm cheating. And I'm like, yeah. That's how it feels, man. problem, the one disappointment with the inks is they take so long to adequately dry.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to consider this finished until next week because there's layers I need to put on over everything, but they won't be dry enough tonight to finish up. Where's my earth shade? Oh, way back in the corner. Oh, I'm running out. I got enough. The other challenge is to figure out which other Midway game to reference other than Mortal Kombat. Yeah. Good luck with that.
Injustice.
Oh, yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. Dude, Injustice was so great.
Yeah. I've never been an arcade fighter, so I never really played any of those.
Yeah.
Or I don't play them often.
So Injustice Mobile came out, and I think it was free. And oh my god, I played that so much. Because it was the only mobile game that I could think of that wasn't explicitly pay to win.
Mm-hmm.
Now the only mobile game that I'm playing is Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery. And that one is definitely pay to win, or just grind like a word I can't say on Twitch.
Grind like a millstone?
Yes. Well, grind like a grindstone, but yeah. Oh, millstone from Magic, yeah.
I have no idea. I was literally just talking like a millstone that like grinds grain.
Oh, okay, yep. Yes. I don't want to do licensed game references in the base game of my campaign. Oh, fair. Fair. Alright. I think this guy's just about... Oh, no he's not. I missed a big bit. I did a stupid. How do you win, Potter? Just by progressing the story. Like, there's little challenges and stuff. It's your own Hogwarts story. Takes place in the 80s. So it's before Harry's time there. The plot is insanely well written, but some of the level requirements for it basically require you to dump cash into it, or just grind an insanely long time, which is what I'm doing because I don't feel like spending. This YouTuber I follow who does playthroughs of it has spent untold thousands of dollars on this game to be as far along as it's possible to be, and I'm not that guy.
That is crazy.
Yep.
Like,
and when I say untold thousands, he's actually done the math. He actually does know how much he's spent on it. And I'm like, dude. But it's incredibly fun. For a game that you just sit there and tap and then wait for your energy to recharge. The plot is so well written. I put it down for a while, and I'm back in it now. Oh. Where's Reclaim Flesh Shade? There it is.
This is fun getting to paint with a color I don't usually get to use that often.
Right? I always love when that happens. Like the way I've got things organized on my tray up here, the colors that I use all the time are out, just on my tray. The colors that I use sometimes are next to me, and the colors I rarely ever use are in the box. And it's always nice having to go into the box. Alrighty. I actually have played quite a few mobile games that I can recommend. A few that, while still gacha based, are generous enough with the resources that you can afford what you need and strategize with the rest. Cookie Run Overbreak, nice. No, I don't have all that much time to play mobile games, so having one that I'm actually invested in and like motivated by, even if I am just sitting here grinding, is nice, and I like that. Which reminds me, I need to finish the mission I was working on. Oh yeah, sure. Nice. That's awesome, RPD. Yeah, I've spent a little bit more than that on Harry Potter. Just sort of like, I'll run into a situation where I'm like, oh, it's, midnight and I need to go to sleep and I've still got 2 hours left on this mission. I done messed up, Aaron. So, there's that. But it's fine.
What I found very helpful with a lot of those, and this is kind of how I do a lot of these mobile games, Google Opinion Rewards.
Yeah.
And they pay you to randomly do surveys.
Is it? But that's Android though, isn't it?
I guess it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can maybe see if there's a Google, because it's through Google, so.
And there might be one. But I don't know if that translates to Apple Store. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. So I was noting to my wife the other day that like some of these old, so I'm looking at the unpainted versus the painted version of the same model. A good paint job will do wonders to improve a bad sculpt. and that's always impressed me. There we go. Whoops.
Mistake.
No, I just bumped the mic. Man, I'm really happy with how the Gravekeeper came out. I did not expect to be going into tonight.
Let's get started with his base code before we do this.
Uh-oh. Actually, speaking of Injustice, one feature that NRS put in Injustice 2 and kept for Mortal Kombat 11 is that you can basically somewhat program an AI to play characters for you, and it's both compatible with most single-player modes, but it's actually competent. Nice. Mortal Kombat 11 even made a dedicated online AI versus AI mode. Whoa, nice. That's cool.
So back in the day, similar to that AI versus AI, the amiibos for Smash Brothers
Mm-hmm.
that you could like fight, and it kind of learns from you.
Yeah.
And as you like play consistently, like it like the AI, like the amiibo like levels up.
Right.
Like me and my friends used to like take several amiibos, and like this would be mine, and I would like train it by playing against it, and then we would just set the amiibos against each other as a
Yeah.
competition.
I'm just trying to lay down some base code on this guy before we call it quits for the night. It's such a bummer painting two minis that are literally exactly the same because they never made a second sculpt.
Mm-hmm.
So my hope is that I'll learn something from painting the first one and then I can bring it to this second one, but so far it's been exactly the same experience. Before the end of the night, anyway. One of the things that I've been struggling with for actually almost 2 years now, I have this one model that I painted absolutely brilliantly, but the only base that fits it is for Age of Sigmar, and it's incompatible with fantasy, like actual Warhammer Fantasy battles.
Yeah.
And it's driving me batty. I want to base that mini so badly and get it into the display case at the store. And I can't do it. I can't find a good way to do it. What it does, it comes with a rock formation that it stands on, which is a freaking epic base. But it's round. And I'm like, ugh. GW. GW, one time. One time. Do something that doesn't directly doesn't directly downgrade the experience of your players. Ah, well. What do you mean not even hiding it? Oh, you're talking to RPD. Oh.
I hate getting the edges of capes.
Right?
Like, paint never wants to, like, collect properly there.
Yeah. I've been lucky in my painting career so far. I haven't had to do too many capes. So, quite honestly, I did a lot of learning on Starblade. And yeah, that particular... Go ahead.
Painting the majority of, like, Batman, like, I do tons of capes.
Yeah. I know it's coming. We're programming the Terminator's AI ourselves. Yep. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, this is a great story. So when I was in high school, I was on the track and field team. I was a long distance runner, and fairly regularly our coach would, who was, I mean, the head coach of the team was more focused on his pole vault crew, which he called his kamikaze crew, than he was on anybody else on the team. So quite often he would just give people, okay, here's your assignment for the day, go do it, and expect us to do it. Well, it doesn't take much to figure out that high schoolers aren't going to listen to that. We would go down to the river and go river jumping, or have a snowball fight at the library, or whatever else to avoid work. So quite frequently, a local triathlete, whose name I won't say for reasons. I love him. He's a good friend, but protect people's identity and all that. Would be sort of our de facto coach for the day, and we called him Terminator because he like his job was to beat the tar out of us in practice, as any good coach will do, especially for a bunch of unruly high schoolers. So one day we're out on our head coach goes, okay, distance team, I want you to go do a 90-minute run and then weight training, which is probably the second worst track and field workout for a distance runner. The worst one being sprint work. So we go out on our run, and we're in the middle of, there's a bunch of like railroad beds and stuff around here. So we're on the trail, and Terminator gets a phone call on his little, this is, early 2000s, so it's a little flip phone. And he answers, and the conversation goes thusly. Yeah. What? You're kidding. Okay, I'll be right there. And he just takes off on his bike without another word. We're all like, okay. This is happening. About half an hour later, he comes back to us on his bike, huffing and puffing, and he's like, I'm back. It's fine. Everything's fine. And we're like, Terminator, did you just kill a man? And he goes, I don't want to talk about it. So to this day, our team insists that that was the day that Terminator killed a man. Track and field was a weird time. Oh, absolutely, it was 100%. And like I said, Terminator remains a very good friend to this day. He is the most mild-mannered individual ever. But it was just the fact that he came back like all out of breath, covered in like filth. It looked very odd. It was really funny. Mike, did you do any sports in school?
A little. I was not an athlete.
Sure.
I wrestled.
Okay.
And I was the statistician for the track team.
Okay.
I didn't actually compete, but
my best friend, the one I call my sister, was our statistician. It was really interesting because, like, even those of us who didn't get along outside of track, we were thick as thieves during practice. Like, we were the best of friends when we were in practice or at a meet. We got along perfectly, but, like, to see us interact at lunch was a completely different story. It was the weirdest thing. Yeah, RPD. High school was a weird place. I will never profess to understand just how anybody could enjoy high school. It's hard to sports when basically your entire lower body's practically shot, yeah. As much as I am into hockey now, I was never allowed to play. My mom knew how clumsy I was. She refuses to admit it, but I know that's exactly why I was never allowed to play.
yeah, I always had this weird disconnect with hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love playing it, and like, being born in Florida, obviously you're not around ice like a lot.
Right.
And I can rollerblade just fine, and my dad used to do roller hockey when I was younger.
Yeah. Oh, I was always allowed to play roller hockey. Yep.
But you'd think rollerblading and ice skating are very similar. They're not.
They are and they aren't.
Like, I could never get, like, even though I could rollerblade just fine, I could never get a hang of ice skating.
Really?
Yeah.
I was always very, very good at both. But like my next door neighbor, who was my best friend basically from, I don't know, first grade to probably sixth grade. she played ice hockey, so I would train with her and her dad in the front yard on the rollerblades. And then my best friend now lived on a pond. So, and it was weird. Like, the pond was the shortcut to the convenience store. So if we in the middle of winter, we would just lace up our skates and go to the convenience store that way, rather than using the car.
This Heavy Mandalorian has a very X-Men color theme going.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got blue or bright blue and bright yellow.
Yeah.
That is very classic X-Men. I think next time I'm in the store, I'm gonna have to pick up some more blue base coats to get started on some of the Batman stuff. It's coming. It'll be next once I get through the gears.
Gotham City Chronicles?
Yep. Like, the whole reason I bought the GCC Kickstarter was I just wanted something different to paint.
Yeah.
I really could care less about how the game works, but might do some like diorama work and stuff with it. First ever place I skated was in Florida. Wow. My first ice skating experience, I was 2 years old. Well, okay, no, my first ice skating experience, I was 2 years old. My mom got very upset with my dad for trying to teach me how to ice skate at 2 years old, and his retort was, "Well, you taught him how to ski."
That brings back memories.
Yeah, I love skiing. Don't get me wrong. I prefer skating. I just like 100%.
As amphibious as I am, like by nature of being born in Florida.
Yep.
My parents tried to teach me to water ski when I was younger.
Oh boy.
The first time I got up, I pretty much immediately fell down and did not have the wherewithal to let go of the rope.
Oh.
So that was an experience.
Yeah. I've never done water skiing, but I've been downhill skiing since I was 2, like I said, and same with skating. And the first time I remember, like, actually, my dad trying to teach me how to skate, he laced up my skates for me and said, "Go." And I taught myself how to skate.
How to swim.
What?
That's pretty much how I learned how to swim.
Yeah. Which is why I'm a terrible, like, skating teacher. My friends with kids are all like, "Oh, can you teach my kid how to skate?" I'm like, no. I really can't. I just kind of do it. I'm very good at it, but I couldn't tell you how I learned. It was sort of by accident. I mean, GCC, like as a game, I have no idea. I have utterly no idea how it's played. Like I said, I just bought it for the minis. Because I thought they were cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I have any fits of Florida madness.
Well, I was gonna say somehow you escaped becoming Florida man.
Yeah. Lord knows, like, I've done plenty of things that probably would have deserved a headline. Probably not as epic as most Florida man's headlines, but I have gotten in more trouble than I deserve, probably. I was actually talking. We've been doing this 3 truths and a lie thing at work, kind of on our daily calls.
Yeah.
As just a way to lighten up, and like I managed to win a day with no one able to guess which one was the lie, because of a story in high school when I was in chemistry class, and we had a balloon filled with acetylene gas that I had said that like an explosion from that like gave me like a lot of burns, but it was actually my teacher, because he really shouldn't have listened to the advice of a 15-year-old on how to explode things. But he did, and proceeded to explode and get a bunch of second and third degree burns all up his arm.
Oh, crikey!
Yeah. That entire class was just one disaster after another, usually caused by me.
Oh boy. This wasn't our teacher, but a colleague, a former colleague of it's another Mr. Welch story. My track coach managed to blow himself and half the school up, which was
impressive.
Yeah, you know how sodium, when you put it in water, will catch fire.
Oh my goodness, that reminds me of another great story.
Well, we'll get there in just a second. So he decided to. So the school was like a U shape.
Yeah.
So as a demonstration, as part of Winter Carnival, he put a wading pool full of water out on the common area there, and chuck a giant piece of sodium into it, which immediately detonated.
Yeah.
And killed him.
Wow.
Yup. It was bad, I'm sure. But the other trouble with my track coach / physics teacher, we never really knew when the things he was telling us were real. Because, well, he was full of S.
Full of malarkey?
Full of malarkey. We kept a book of all the things he said and gave it to him when we graduated. Most of them he did not remember saying.
So my chemistry teachers, sorry if you're not.
No, you're done. I'm done. You're good. Go for it.
My chemistry teacher, Sodium Story, he got in a feud one day.
A feud?
A feud with the janitor who kept rearranging all his desks.
Okay.
So finally, he kept leaving notes and other stuff like that. And after like months of just being ignored, essentially, one day before leaving, he like took some sodium and like sprinkled it all over the floor.
Oh no!
And so when the janitor came in and mopped,
oh,
all just erupted.
What a jerk! Oh my god, that guy is my hero.
Yeah, that was
oh
great.
Boy. The recent Marvel Miniatures game. What?
Crisis Protocol?
Sure.
Or is that the card game? No, Marvel Champions is the card game.
Champions is the card game. I have not played it, unfortunately. I am unable to make a determination as to whether that game is good or not. Oops. So this time it was the janitor that had to learn to respect someone else's fear, dude. RPD bringing it with the a very strong Scrubs reference. It is well documented that Scrubs is my all-time favorite television show. I love it, I love it, I love it. Yeah.
I guess while we're on teacher stories, and I guess track and field.
Sure.
Our track and field coach was the history teacher.
Yep.
He's a great guy, but not always the most intelligent.
Sure.
He used to have like a solid black Jeep.
Uh-huh.
So one day, to also preface this, our art teacher, being the creative art person that she is,
Of course.
she used to have a Volkswagen Beetle. It was bright red,
Okay.
and she had like little magnetic circles that were black, and she made it look like a ladybug.
Oh, nice.
So one day, we took the black circles off of her car and put them on the jet black, like solid black Jeep of our track coach over the door handles.
Oh my god. That's awesome.
He spent like half an hour trying to figure out what was wrong. It was so great.
You know, the class
I'm
before...
surprised I didn't get in like any trouble in high school. Like I deserved so much.
Well, so I know exactly why I didn't get in, or my class didn't get into any trouble. And it's because the class ahead of us was awful.
Yeah.
They ruined so many things for us. We weren't allowed to go on class trips. You know, our you know, the teachers just didn't trust any of the kids. Hey, Adam's in the chat. How's it going, Adam? How'd the office remodel go? Yeah, so that's... I guarantee that's why my class never got into... Like, our senior prank was to virus the school server. And we didn't get in trouble for it.
Wow.
Yeah. The hard part is out of the way. Oh, good. Were you just kind of moving things around, or... Oh, right on. RPD, I can't remember the Scrubs reference you made last night. There were a lot of references flying around. I remember laughing at it, though. So basically, I was in a room that used to not be a room. It used to be not a room, and they extended it into the garage before I moved in. But because of some dumb choices by the previous owner, it was impossible to have a door. Oh! Yeah, that's no bueno. There we go. So I switched out with Freya's room. Oh, nice. And switching my geek hoarder office with a child's room is no small task. Yeah, there is that. That is why I have like this office that I'm in, and then my workbench space downstairs. Because I'm a hoarder too. But it's good to hear that it's going well. We miss you. Whoops. Yeah. I think we were talking about that the other day. Oh, ow. Unfortunately, the only other Marvel minis I know of are HeroClix, that are, and those are smaller than 24. Yeah. The only HeroClix I ever had were Namor the Submariner and Aquaman, and they lived in my fish tank.
That's great.
With my fish. I named my fish Stanley. He was a good boy. And then my brother killed him. I needed my brother to watch my fish for like a couple of weeks while I was away. And he neglected to feed the fish. Much less clean the tank. I was very sad to come home.
Just remember, 3 hams will kill him.
Yep.
You know what I just realized?
What's that?
I made a terrible mistake.
I've made a huge mistake.
I've made a terrible error.
Uh-oh.
I could have done this in purple and made him look like Vile.
Oh my god, you could have!
And that would have been awesome.
Oh, that would have been so cool.
Time to just throw this mini away.
They've been working on a whole bunch of them, Ian. So I did it. Oh, that's right. I forgot you did Hellboy also. Yeah, I really have to learn that system, like, so I can help you guys out. So my wife made this meal tonight, dinner, with a ridiculous load of kale in it, which I love. I love kale, but the cramps are real. I don't know why that. I don't know if that has anything to do with kale, but oh boy, kale, aka spinach, but cool. It was a very good dinner, but there was a lot of kale. It made things very green. Yeah, I get it, though. I can't digest large quantities of vegetables. Yeah, for sure. Like, I really do like. Adam, you've heard Ness and me go back and forth, or you've seen Ness and me go back and forth about vegetarian diet, and like I really do. You know, it irritates me sometimes that my wife is vegetarian, but also like some of the cooking techniques and tricks and stuff that I've learned have been amazing, and I'm so excited about it. Like it's done wonders to improve me as a cook. And I've learned all these new ingredients that I never knew existed. What do you mean, Ian? Yes. Yeah. Oh dear. Dude just fell off his base. Okay, I guess we're doing it this way. Might be an indication that it's time to pack it in. Alright, that needs to be re-glued. He is painting Mandalorian stuff, Adam.
Do the focus straight.
Yeah, they look great. And I finished... Oh! Since you're here, Adam. I finished The Gravekeeper. And his face was a freaking nightmare. Yeah, I'm super happy with how he came out. Making his face work took so long because the sculpt on his face is really, really awful. And he's wearing a domino mask, which is like barely there. So I sort of overdid it on the whites of his eyes, and I think it came out really nice. Oh, did he? I'll have to check that out. Oops. So, Broody, is what system is the one you said you could have painted like Vile?
Uh, this was just a custom set.
Okay.
It's the same style as like the same like 28 millimeter for Legion,
Okay.
but yeah, it's not Fantasy Flight or anything for like for the game.
Oh, okay.
It
So I
was
was
like
gonna
a
say,
custom
like,
ordered 3D print.
oh man, now I want to buy one so I can paint Vile. That's Adam. That's what we should do with the AUGS system. Make the Mega Man characters. That would be super rad, and now I really want to do it. Now I have to. Yeah, I don't have a choice. I gotta learn it. Add more things I need to make. Yeah. Shut up, RPD. Yeah. I feel Mega Man doesn't require much of a rewrite at all, though, from what I understand. You need a massive ton of minions, though. Although, I mean, I guess they're largely the same level to level. No, that's not true. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. God, I miss DuckTales right now. It's on hiatus, and I'm sad. Just like every other TV show in the world. You know, it's pushing summer season when I start my semi-annual rewatch binge of Iron Chef. Oh, are we gonna have that discussion here too? Or maybe we should save that for next week when Adam's back. Adam definitely had some opinions about Avatar on Twitter the other day. Okay. I also think they botched the ending. All right, right on. Because it's, yeah, that, I mean, it happens. We all know that one. Mike, I don't know about you, but I got a couple colors left, and I think I'm going to call it in a few here.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat.
All right.
I'm definitely waning.
Yeah, that seems somewhat contradictory. But the avatar is of the world and therefore can't detach from it. I think they'd be okay if they left the romance out of a kid's show. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I can't speak for Avatar in specific. I've never seen it, but the it seems to me that some shows, especially those designed by networks such as Nickelodeon or released by, tend to assume, like, they try to grow with their audience, but they misjudge how quickly their audience grows. Like it or not, there's a developmental stage in between Nick Jr. and Teen Nick. Just based on what they've done prior to that, it seems like a betrayal of the storytelling to just go, okay, but okay, and gets kisses. Oh yeah, teeth. No. That's not it either. Which color did I use, Birdie?
Which one?
I can't remember. Hope it was this one. It was. Okay, got lucky. Cool. Right. All right, so Mankin, we're done here. I think. Ruh-roh. Oh. Right on, Adam. We'll talk to you next week, yeah? All right. Have a good one, man.
See ya.
Happy birth month. Gonna go for another hike tomorrow. Should be fun. it's nice to. I think I may have said this earlier, but now I'm starting to forget. I definitely did say this earlier. It's nice to find some ways to approximate normalcy during Backstreet Boys reunion tour, as the Game Grumps are calling it. Which I think is the funniest way to describe this whole mess. Ow. Somehow I just managed to stab myself with a dry brush.
That is an acquired skill.
Yep, sure is. Alright, green goop. Yeah, probably not RPD. But you can tease it. So we got Tales from the Archive tomorrow. We can talk then. Or if it's one better suited for Zach Sucks at Games, we got that on coming up on Thursday. Or it might be Gear Up again, because the Baboon is slightly more available these days. And we'd really love to get Gears 5 started. One thing I can mention is that the stream's been labeled as table. Oops. I forgot to change it to art. Oops. Oh well. Too late now. Oh, I was way off camera there. Whoops. Can you tell I'm getting tired? Oh, okay, gotcha. All right. I think that just about wraps it up for me.
Yeah.
Actually, one good question for the end. Where can I find the archives of adjacent hex? There's some systems I'd like to hear your take on. That is at ghostshipradio.com, RPD. It's all there. For some reason, the RSS feed only posts the last 10 episodes. T Squared was supposed to fix that and never did. I'm honestly quite frustrated about that, but that's another topic for another day. Doug and I have been fighting him on it for probably 2 years. But yeah, they're all there.
So we got Cara Dune.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Need to wash and add a couple more details, but
Yeah.
not vile.
Not vile. Not vile enough. All right. Well, yeah, I got the twin bulls here, ready for layers and finishing up. And once again, I'll show off this because I'm just really happy with them. It's yes, my gravekeeper. See, I beat you to it, RPD. All right, everybody. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. We had a great time, per usual. I think we're both kind of exhausted at this point, but we will be back. Same bat time, same bat channel next week. Hopefully with Adam in tow again. It sounds like he was ready to come back. Sounds like his office is going well, so that's great. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. Take care, everybody.
All signed off.